Hello, Lions fans. Welcome to Lions News Fan Report, your place for real team talk with context, clarity, and zero fluff. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications now because what we're breaking down today touches identity, roster construction, and how Detroit closes games when the clock gets loud in January. Inside the building, the message is simple, and it's already changed the tone of the week. Detroit is bringing in Azeez Ojulari to live opposite Aiden Hutchinson and compress pockets. On schedule, leave a like and stay with me, because in the next minutes you'll get the whole arc of how this moved from idea to green light, why the coaches pushed for it, what the analytics flagged, and exactly how it shows up on third down in 2 minutes. And against the run, this isn't a highlight reel promise. It's the sequence of decisions that turns almost pressure into drive-killing production. The timeline starts at the end of last season, in those long nights of self-scout, when the staff replayed third and mediums from November and December and kept seeing the same movie. Quarterbacks hitching once, sliding inside the right tackle and getting the throw-off with a body in the window, but not in the ribs. The note on the whiteboard was blunt. Win the first step more often, punish oversets, and take away that climb lane. Over January, exit meetings, the priority crystallized into a profile rather than a name, bend and burst off the snap, heavy hands at contact, and enough inside counter to make a tackle pay for opening the gate. Early in the offseason, the analytics group dropped a packet that got people leaning forward. It wasn't just pressure rate. It was time to first disruption, win percentage on true pass sets, and a split that showed how much more effective Detroit's four-man rush became when the opposite edge won within 2 seconds. The cut-ups the position coach pulled for staff showed Ojulari hitting the exact keys the profile demanded, a sudden first step that forces the tackle's hips to open, a rip that stays tight to the frame, and a feel for when the quarterback is about to climb. The first exploratory call went out, not with fireworks, just with homework and calendar alignment. As spring moved toward summer, the conversations got more concrete. Scheme fit, role clarity, rotation expectations, and the simple question every player asks and every good staff answers, when do you want me winning and how are you going to set it up? The answer from Detroit was clean. You'll live in wide nine in our nickel world. We'll pair you with games that put your inside counter on a guard who's late, and on first down against outside zone, you'll set a hard edge that squeezes the track back into help. It wasn't a sales pitch. It was tape, arrows, and minutes. After minicamp, when the coaches looked at the calendar and the early season travel, the internal urgency ticked up a half step. No panic, just a shared sense that adding a closer on the other side would let the rush stay honest without dialing up all-out pressure as often. That opened the door for logistics. Travel day penciled, medicals slotted, install plan packaged. The sequence reads boring on paper, which is exactly what you want in a grown-up move. A line roll, a line cap, a line timing, move. On the field, you'll notice the impact in 3 TV simple frames. 3rd and 7, trips away. The right tackle opens his hips early to protect the arc. Ojulari sells outside with 2 quicks, snaps back through the B-gap with a tight rip, and now the quarterback's step up takes him directly into the looping 3-tech. The ball comes out half a beat early and the drive stalls. 2nd and long. After a penalty, wide 9 again, the tight end chips late because he had to scan the flat. The back delays his check release, and the route downfield never stacks. The coverage doesn't have to win for 3 seconds. It just has to survive 2 and change because the pocket is shrinking from both edges. 2-minute crowd up, the right guard and center pass a game off 1 step too shallow. Ojulari crosses the guard's face with inside leverage, gets the rake on the throwing hand, and the ball's on the turf. Field flips, stadium wakes up. January. Football feels a yard shorter. This isn't only about the pass. Against outside zone to his side, he plays square, gets his inside hand down the sternum, and makes the runner bubble to the help. Against duo, he keeps the outside shoulder free and compresses the gap until the scrape fits clean. When offenses sprint out to his edge to steal an easy stick route, his first two steps flatten the angle and force throws off platform. Every one of those little wins turns 2nd and 5 into 3rd and 6, and that's where Detroit's structure likes to live. The locker room piece matters more than fans sometimes think. Add a second closer and practice changes by itself. Hand combat gets sharper and individual. The tackles are forced to anchor on a Tuesday like it's a Sunday, and the rotation means nobody needs to play hero ball snaps that empty the tank by Thanksgiving. The secondary feels it too. When the ball comes out a half beat sooner, you get more breakups simply because the quarterback never reaches his second hitch. Coordinators call coverages with a freer hand when they trust the rush to arrive on time, without sending the house. Financially, this is a function move, not a poster move. The structure has to live inside a cap plan that's been mapped for the core and for the draft class, while still leaving room for the inevitable mid-season needs. That means staggered guarantees, performance triggers that reward availability, and production, and an eye on keeping the defensive line room healthy through the life of the deal. Nothing about this undercuts other priorities. It complements them by raising the floor on the most expensive down in football. There are risks, and pretending otherwise would be lazy. Soft tissue flare-ups can steal weeks if you push a ramp too fast. Language of pressure has to be learned so games hit with precision. If you're half a yard off, the guard wins. Cadence tells in the division are real. If you're late off the snap against certain centers, they'll cut your angle in half. The mitigation is already baked into the plan. Early snap counts that build rather than spike, package-based usage while communication tightens, and an install that starts with what he does best and only then adds the extras. There's also the identity conversation that Detroit keeps having with itself and keeps answering the same way. This team wants to bully the line of scrimmage with 4 and 5, not live off 0 every big moment. Adding a true first-step winner opposite Hutchinson lets the scheme stay honest, and the players keep their legs for the fourth quarter. You could feel last year how much easier the offense breathed when the defense stacked quick stops. You'll feel it again when third downs shorten by design rather than by miracle. Zoom out, and the path to here looks less like a splash and more like a sequence. January self-scout identifies the pain. February writes the profile. March and April find the tape that matches the profile. Late spring aligns cap and roll. Early summer sets the clock. By the time you and I are talking about it, the work has already been done in quiet rooms with bad coffee and too many markers. That's how you turn an off-season sentence into a Sunday habit. The calendar from here is tight and professional. Travel check, medicals, pen, photos, install. The first week is about language, not heroics. Stand in the right place, hear the right word, take the right step. The second week expands games with the 3 tech and the mic so that the timing, from meeting room to field, is one smooth thing. By the third week, you're seeing those 3rd and 7 frames on TV, not just in the cut-ups. And when the microphone appears, expect plain talk. Role, rotation, expectation, not promises. Nobody can keep in a league that doesn't care about your plans. You'll see ripple effects around the roster, but nothing that blows a hole in what's already working. A young edge slides into a cleaner snap count that fits his body. A veteran interior rusher gets one-on-ones he didn't see last year because the protection finally has to pick a poison. Linebackers play faster when the ball is funneled where it's supposed to go. Special teams benefit from fresher legs that weren't just asked to carry 60 snaps of slugfest. The offense gets shorter fields twice a month because strip sack probability isn't theory anymore. And yes, you'll feel it in the stadium. The sound of a forced early throw is different. It has that sharp inhale before the roar. The body language of a quarterback who knows the edge is getting there on time is different. The shoulders sink a touch. The eyes come down a tick sooner. That's not narrative. It's physics. Get there faster. Make the decision window smaller. Collect the mistakes that fall out of it. Drop your take in the comments. Does this kind of edge addition change how confident you are on third down against the top quarterbacks on the schedule, or would you have spent the capital elsewhere? Would you tilt the rotation heavier in September to bank wins, or keep the slow build to peak in January? Your read shapes what we break down next, and you'll get the film room version as soon as there's a snap to study. Now, as we always do, only at the very end, a word about the frame of this show. This episode is part of our rumors and speculation window built on internal signals and football logic to explain why a move like this fits and how it would actually look if it's finalized. My personal read is straightforward. An edge who wins the first step opposite a star doesn't just add sacks. He raises the floor of every defensive snap. And that is the kind of quiet, grown man upgrade that turns tight Sundays in December into wins you can feel in January.